You're on mute.
Mute, Kojo.
My system is moving very, very mad, guys. Sorry about that. So because I was seeing a timer, I wasn't seeing anything but a timer. It was just stuck there. But hey, guys, welcome to Little Black Button 91. We're here giving you guys the UK Taskforce on Married at First Sight. I am joined by two lovely, lovely ladies. I'll let them introduce themselves. I'll go from top to bottom. Oh, you don't see the same way I see it on my screen, innit? On the top, I see Rax.
Raquel's top. Yeah.
Okay, you still see that. Okay, so you see the way I see it. Fantastic. All right, cool. Rax, I'll let you go. Introduce yourself and let them know where they can find you, and then we'll let Soph go.
Hey, my name's Raquel. You can find me at Raxreal on Instagram and YouTube. I do natural hair content, lifestyle content, motherhood content, and also have a podcast called Mama Drama Pod.
Beautiful stuff. So?
And I'm Sophie Hannah. I'm also a content creator. I'm on a weekly show online called Ethnically Speaking, where we talk about current affairs and pop culture things that are going on. I also do film reviews, interviews with ethnic minority women. Check everything I'm doing at I am Sophie Hannah. So go follow me on Instagram to see all my content. Trying to get to 1,000 followers on Instagram this year. I got 50 to go. So make sure you guys go and subscribe now at I am Sophie Hannah.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Whew, guys, episode 13 was quite interesting. There was a few bits and bobs that were in there that were a little bit cray-cray. But I want to start off strong. We always start with the Chris and the Paige stuff. Chris basically called out Paige and says she's not a leng ting. You understand? And Paige, obviously, Dr. Pepper told Paige, don't worry, he's a narcissist and that. So there was quite a bit that was going on between Chris and Paige. What was your thoughts in regards to Chris and Paige, finally? Rax, you're looking at me like that, so go for it.
I'm just so disgusted with this man. I'm just beyond disgusted with him. Nothing's wrong with having your preference. Like, people are attracted to what they're attracted to, but he's just outright rude. How he even said it, he was just like, I just don't like her face. There are so many women in the whole of Atlanta, so many women here of all races, creeds, and colors, and this is what you found me. Highly offensive, very rude. He could have picked his words wisely, like it's going out to the nation. She's a woman, a fellow human being, also his wife, and you're going to sit up there and just say, yeah, but her face just weren't it. Like, it's very, very rude. No consideration for her feelings, whatever. He could have just stuck to saying, okay, I'm not that attracted to her. It's not really going to work. But yeah, he comes across as quite, I don't know, is it shallow that he wouldn't even give it a go because he was just so turned off by her face? What do you guys think?
I mean, would you go on, Soph?
Well, I want to know what you were going to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were going to say.
No, Soph, go for it.
No.
Go for it.
We're in your world. We're just in here in Little Black Button world. Just taking up a little space. We want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah. No, I was gonna ask. Obviously, I mean, would you guys give it a try if you didn't like the face? I'm just saying.
For 8 weeks, yeah.
He's been sleeping with her, multiple times.
Aside that, we know he's a prick. Right? He's a true narcissist. So take that aside. I'm talking about a normal person now. Could you do it? 8 weeks, you go on.
Do you know what? I could do it just because when Pastor Calvin said, "What don't you like?" He said, "I don't like her face." He was like, "Is there anything else?"
So
and he
rude.
said nothing. He said nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing else. So for me, if it's a guy whose body's banging, he's nice, he's doing well for himself, like he has a relationship with God, I'm gonna give it a try if I'm not attracted, especially if they're not butters. I'm gonna be like, I can give it 8 weeks. I can really try, because if the only thing is your face and everything else is good, I'm like, come on, like I can't be that shallow to actually not try and make an effort. And I think that was the worst thing, because if he'd have said, apart from her face, because it wasn't even her body, that's what killed me.
Yeah, it's mad.
It wasn't even her body. He was just like, I'll take the body, I leave the face. So for me, it's, if this woman was praying over him, supporting him, being there, riding for him, and he's just like only the face, he's just the scum of the earth. I just don't know what else we can say about him. Like,
So what would you do, Kojo? The face weren't hitting for you. Everything else was working out. What are you doing?
On Married at First Sight. Now, in real life, maybe I'd be like, no, but in Married at First Sight, would you at least work? You'd at least try, right, for the 8 weeks.
I definitely know that that I would make it work. Because like I would fall in love with your personality. Because I know I'm stuck with you for 8 weeks. I would make it work. Do you know what I mean? Like I because I know even when you're in a workspace, like some people are they're not attracted to you, but you spend enough time with them. Like, well, actually, do you know what? Frick it. Maybe you know what? I kind of see you different now because I know your personality in that. So it wouldn't be a problem as such. I mean, you know what I mean? So I would have never taken the route that he took. If it was a married at first sight situation, he just wasn't there to be married. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, not whatsoever.
Yeah, he wasn't.
And
there
I feel like I know I wasn't here last week when he was talking to his mum, but it's just like everyone enables him. Like that whole, well, mum, you know what I'm like when I don't know something. Yeah, it's true. So that's what he's going to do for the rest of his life. If the business doesn't work out, he's going to stop being a businessman. If his car breaks down, he's going to throw it away and buy another one. It's just a ridiculous concept. He was using it to try and find some sort of bogus reason as to why he was going to give up. But the fact that he had sex with her, it's just so disrespectful, especially because of the venom he was talking about her with Pastor Cal. Like the venom of like, I like my white queens, Hispanic queens, black queens, everyone else on the show. And I'm just like, you really would have got with anyone else on the show? You would have really got with Virginia? Don't lie. Don't lie. Like you're trying to, he was trying to dog her out like she is just the ugliest woman on the show. She's nothing. I'm like, but you were sleeping with her every chance you coerced her into. Yeah.
What? Every chance he coerced her into?
Because remember she was saying, well, he was saying to me, you're my wife. This is expected on the wedding night. Like, not every time she was even 100%. It seems from what she was saying, willing. He was talking her into it. I'm like, why would you talk someone into it and then have a panic attack the next day?
He should have left the sex out of it.
I mean, I mean, we live in the UK. Come on now, come on. This is not abnormal behavior in terms of having sex with people you don't really necessarily like or find attractive. Mandem have been doing this for a very long time. Chris is not new in that particular regard.
Okay, very true.
And when Mandem wake up, what happens? They run. They got the house.
Kojo, would you do that with a woman who you were married to on the show, knowing?
I would never do that.
Knowing
that's the point.
The stakes are, for me, the stakes are higher. Like,
I would never do that.
If you meet a girl at the club, it's very different from sneaking out the next morning to you're married to her, you're going to be on national television, and you're just like, well, I abstained from masturbating for 3 days, so a man can't control himself.
It's actually vile.
It is. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Obviously, he's a prick for that, right? But his behavior, as much as he's a narcissist and everything, his behavior reminds me of a lot of guys out there who are trash. And it's not like he even hid the trashness. His trashness was from the very beginning. It started within 5 minutes of him being on. Like, the fact that Paige opened a leg for a man who first of all told you, listen, I got a tattoo just another time, not long ago, of my ex thing. You should have been backtracking him like, actually, let me guard my heart. Because as much as we're married, you're not sounding like you're serious right now. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not, by the way, this is the same thing with Clara and Ryan. I would cast them the same way as well. But it's just like, I'm not saying that, he's no accountability. He's got so much. We have to insult him to the hilltop, to the death of this show, right? And he'll be the worst ever candidate on this show ever. Because I'm sure they won't let another one like him again. I'm sure they won't.
Next year, they are going to make sure everyone...
How did he slip through the cracks? How?
You know what?
Too much Zoom.
How did he perform? I want to know what. I want to see his interviews and his application.
It was Zoom application. That's why.
Good point. But do you know what? I was reading up yesterday randomly about the characteristics of a narcissist, and the whole point is that they manipulate you into thinking that they're charming, that they're interesting, that all this stuff, and they're saying over time you begin to see the tendencies. So I can fully believe if he is a narcissist, that he was showing parts of himself that seemed really lovely and winning and charming, and then next thing you know, bam, real Chris shows up.
But he'd even do that. That's the point. He didn't do that. He didn't even do that. Like, I could say, Paige, you know what? You never saw it coming. Because none of us saw it coming. No, he did it from the very point. The moment he started the show, he started showing some bastard tendencies.
It's true, but the point is, if he'd have met a woman who he was physically attracted to, we would have seen a different Chris for the first couple of weeks. And I think the crazy would have come out late because he would have been so attracted. men, if they're attracted to you,
Yeah.
their best behaviors coming out at
Mm.
first. And we would have seen a very different Chris, but now we're seeing probably what any woman gets in a relationship with Chris once you're past
Absolutely.
the honeymoon period.
Absolutely. And I'm not trying to avoid accountability. I'm just trying to say, this is why I think as men, we got to teach you the game. This is why you got to let us men teach women the game, because then you can start spotting these things for yourself. Because that was shambolic. I'm sorry, his game was so shambolic. I've seen better game from 18-year-olds. He didn't even try to hide his crap. That's the point. So Paige, that's why I'm saying, I'm looking at Paige like, Paige, you ignored all the red flags. And listen, women will agree, they've done this before, and I hear that. We know women have done that before, but that's precisely why we have to teach people the game. That there are people out here who are willing to take advantage of you. Because from the very beginning, he said tattoo situation. From the very beginning, he's telling you about 3 days or whatever. He couldn't last masturbation. These are things that you yourself, Paige, said you're feeling that something wasn't quite right. There are things that are going on that are alarming. Do you know what I mean? The experts are telling you, slow the heck down, Paige. Everybody's telling you, like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, after a while, you have to go to yourself, okay, Paige, you've learned a lesson now. And now, any other woman watching a show, these are the signs of somebody who just doesn't care. He doesn't care. Spat Nation did a better job of recruiting people than Chris did to Paige. Honestly, he didn't even love bomb her.
It makes me wonder. Hopefully they didn't lie about the situation. But in their situation with the baby, whether it was just a ploy for him to get out. Like, I don't know. Like, she went through that condolence, both of them, but it's just a bit, the timing, it was very early in the pregnancy. It's all very, it's hard to trust what he says because of his behavior. But yeah, who knows? But Paige is finally free.
But I think something that... Sorry, go on, Kojo.
I think the worst part of it is, I feel like Chris is trying to get out. This is the worst part of it. Usually narcissists are trying to control you to stay in. He ain't trying to stay in, he's trying to get out. He's literally trying to get out. No, I'm just being honest. I think he's trying to get out.
He has to. Do you know what? As I was watching it, I was deep in the fact that he didn't move into the apartment.
He didn't do
it.
Not one night, Raquel.
The only time one night was the wedding day, the honeymoon, and that's it. So the past few weeks, he has not stayed with her. Like, he's been checked out. I just thought, the whole time he just skipped that whole apartment phase. He just hasn't been about it, all because he doesn't like her face enough, Wow.
Yeah, he's a bit of a break though. Sorry, Sophie, what were you going to say?
Maybe.
I think something that Paige said again last week in terms of, I don't know if you guys talked about it, but
No, go for it.
She's trying to break generational curses in her family by not getting divorced.
That's true.
And it just made me feel how dangerous it is to throw Christianity on situations that are obviously not able to work. And you can be so wanting of something like, I don't want to be a failure at marriage like the rest of my family. I want to break those curses, that she put herself in a situation where she was manipulated, hurt beyond what she should have, because like you said, it was clear to everybody. And her whole thing was, my marriage cannot be a failure like my family's. And that made me really, really sad from like a Christian perspective. Like, we need to do better. Like, breaking generational curses doesn't mean that you stay in places that are bad for you just because you can say, I didn't bend and break like the others did.
But on top of the generational curses, also her trying to walk by faith. And she was so reliant on the fact that God has brought them both here. Their stars or whatever have aligned. It's been ordained. The experts have been involved. They both applied for the show. So this should be it. I'm his wife now, so I need to stick with him through everything. So her faith, or her perspective on faith, was driving her so much in staying and being willing to go through all of his mess. Because even up until the end, I feel like if he'd turned around and said, you know what, you're my wife, let's try, she still would have stuck around to give it a go, despite everything he'd done.
Do you know what? I think the turning point was when she spoke to her brother, maybe, because it became clear that she wasn't talking to anyone. And women do that. I have done, women like to hide some of the nastiest crap that's going on in the relationship, because once you air it to people that you love, they're going to be like, you need to leave that situation. So we hide that, he was cheating with someone else and I caught him. We don't tell them that because you're just like, anyone's going to be like, don't do it. If you, he bought some car for his ex-baby mother who's pregnant with his baby. You'd be like, you need to leave that situation. But she wasn't. And when her brother was just like, exactly. Her brother was just like, we had no clue what was going on. And when she told him, I'm like, now she's trying to be accountable to people. And it's so important to be accountable to people but sometimes within yourself, she knew within herself. That's why she never said anything.
Yeah.
And she was trying to honor her marriage as well, wasn't she, from the start?
Yeah.
She was trying to honor.
Do you know what, Raquel? I really hate when people say that. Like,
but that's what she was trying to do. You hate the fact that she was doing.
Do you know? So I've gone to like Hindus, and like bridal showers where it's like the nice one when people aren't getting drunk and stuff like that. And they have like the older women round and they're giving advice and they say stuff like, don't tell anyone what goes in your marriage. Your marriage is secret. It's between you and your husband. And I am not here for that, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't think that marriage is something that can be done alone. Relationships can't be done alone. You need people who you trust, who have the best intentions for you at their heart, to be able to go and talk about things when they're crazy, so that you can get some sort of barometer on, is this normal? Should this be going on, or is it just me? Now, I have been able to have those conversations in marriage. One of the things, when I got married, my husband and I got into an argument, and because we were living in separate cities originally, the arguments tended to be over the phone. Now we're married in the house, we're having like one of our first big arguments or whatever. He was like, I'm done with this. Not the marriage, but he's like, I'm done with this conversation. He walked out of this room I'm in now, went downstairs. I went after him, still arguing. He went into some next room. I followed him in there. I went, and he was just like, are you crazy? Why are you following me around? He was like, you're crazy. I was just like, I haven't finished arguing. I'm just going to go with you because I haven't finished saying what I want to say. And I'm going to say what. So then when we went round he was literally like, she's insane. We went round to some friend's house who'd been married for like 15 years. And they were just like, yeah, when we got first married, she used to follow me around the house arguing. And he was just like, she did that too? He was just like, yeah, man. I was just like, this is crazy. And even though that's a small thing, and probably a lot of wives aren't like that, but that's how I was at the beginning. When my husband heard that another married couple were doing it, he was just like, okay, it gave him like, all right, maybe this is something that isn't just crazy. Maybe this is something that happens. The argument's going to change. We've got to find a new way to communicate. So I am not here for only speak to your husband about marriage, because that's how abuse happens. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not for it. I used to be like, yeah, it's your thing, but I realized, no, it's the quickest way to die. It's the quickest way to die.
Agreed. Yeah.
Honestly, it's the quickest way to die, because it's. I remember I wrote a blog post years ago, and I don't know why I wasn't trying to abide by it, but it's like being a boxer. You don't box by yourself. You box with a team. Although you're the only person in the ring, you actually box with cornermen. And you need those cornermen, because at times when you're boxing, you're in the ring, you're seeing things from a boxer's point of view. You're literally getting hit and you're trying to dodge. But the cornerman's like, listen, you need to start throwing some lefts, because right now, bruv, you're not seeing the openings. And so the person who's boxing sees, oh, I'm in the mood, I'm ready for it. But he's like, no, throw some lefts, because he's open there. But the boxer's like, no, I've got it. No, throw some lefts. So the cornerman sees things that we can't see. And I think every marriage needs cornermen, because all of us are crazy. All of us are crazy, me included.
It's the caliber of the cornerman, so that's why I think
true.
People came with the warning. But if you go to the wrong person or the wrong your issue that's actually like this could become they don't need to resolve it or work it out. They could be poking the bear like, yeah,
it's true. They want to pay out. Like, if they go for longer, I get more money. Yeah,
it depends who you're talking to. So true. It's good to speak, but you got to just use your discernment and
mindful
pray to
people.
God who you're speaking to is of God, and or God is using them to speak to you, because otherwise,
trust me,
it could be a hot mess.
You need people who want your marriage to succeed or your relationship to succeed. I'm serious. Like, when I go to times when I've gone to my mum, I'm like, how do I do this? He's driving me crazy. She's like, he loves you. He loves you. So you need to find, because she's on our team. She's on the team of our marriage. So if you're dating someone who isn't on the team of your relationship, first of all, ask why, because there could be a very good reason as to you date this person and like this person is not a great person. But if it is someone good, don't date that person who ain't got nothing good to say about them.
Honestly, I mean, when I even do one-to-one coaching with married couples, the option of divorce is not on the table. So we have to work some way. That we don't see that option. It's not existing. So we need to find ways of being able to sort out what issues you got right now, because that's the only option I can see, right? Because you're in a marriage, you've committed to this. Now, unless someone's getting beaten up, that's the only thing, or something like that, or there's some serial cheating. Yeah, those are things that we know. But if it's an issue of not happy, if you're not happy, that's fantastic. Let's work that out. Because obviously we are here at this point. There has to be someone in your corner that wants to speak life into your situation. Because sometimes you are blinded. You just cannot see it. Do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes the other person is generally being true to themselves in how they feel. But to you, it feels like you are being obnoxious, or you're being rude, or you're being this or that. And they can see it as they're seeing it completely different to how you're seeing it. And sometimes you just need someone else to be like, hey, look, do you know what? I actually see both your perspectives. But if I turn this thing here, you can both see it the way it needs to be seen. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you know what? Paige needed. No, I can't even say Paige needed, because she had it. She had the experts.
She did.
The experts were there, so I can't say that.
Yeah, but I think her loved one, in terms of her family, like people who truly knew her, she was blocking them from knowing what was going on in the situation, because she didn't want them to be like, Paige, this isn't for you.
It's tough out here. Okay, cool. There was also another couple that was really interesting during the course of the show. It was Bree and it was Vincent. They had the whole conversation around the budget. Now, I don't know. It's Okay, so what do we think about the budget situation?
Who
Vincent was
has
sweating.
£9,000 a month to be spending on monthly expenditures? Maybe a lot of people do. I'm not living in that percentile. I'm going to admit it. I'm not living where we have £9,000 disposable income every month to be spending on stuff. But my thing is like, what tabs will we missing? Because I'm not joking, guys. I pause that spreadsheet to try and read. I'm like, come on, I'm like, where is the money going? I'm like, the rent was 1,700. I'm like, not too expensive. I can understand if you're living in a very nice city. If you're living in London in a 2-bed, you could probably be paying that price, because I'm like, makes sense. I was looking, where is this money going? Like, do they have some serious debts that they need to pay back? That for me,
£300.
I feel like there must be some, because I don't understand how you're spending £9,000 in outgoings. But then again, that's not my lifestyle.
We saying
I wish it was.
I think the finance issue is going to be a big deal for them, because he's just like, I'm done enjoying my money. I just want to stack it and save it. And she's just like, but I want to date. Like, you can just tell spending money makes her happy. Yeah. And when she say things, literally just exhale, like fall back, like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Because they're just, where's the compromise going to be? I think the compromise is going to have to come from him. I don't feel like she's going to want to give up spending at all. I don't feel like she's not going to budge on that. She works hard for her money. She wants to enjoy it. I feel like he's going to need to loosen the purse strings, or change his attitude to money a bit. But hopefully they can come to a place where they agree the amount for savings and the amount for going out. But yeah, they both weren't happy with each other on that.
$500 on groceries, just to say that again.
I saw that. Yeah, that was. Who are we feeling?
He's stressed. He's actually stressed. He's like, what have I got here? She's a high maintenance woman, but you know what it is? She's just so used to maintaining herself. So for someone to come and tell her now what's with her money, it's a problem.
Raquel, you get in a relationship, you get married at first sight, you're obviously earning big bucks, and your husband is now telling you that you need to live underneath the standard.
It'll be a hard pill to swallow.
You have to live under the standard that you're used to, even though you literally have the money to keep it up. And now you want to combine income. Yeah. I think that's really, really tough, because I'm like, I don't know if I'd budge. I'd be like, but I can afford this in general. I can afford to get my nails done and my hair done.
He's in a good place though, but I see she still wants to have fun in the relationship, where he's just like,
that part has to be
got it at home while we going out.
He should change that.
Because you can have fun on a budget. You know,
Yeah,
but
that's
he's
what I'm saying.
why are we going out? You know, I've got you now, you've got me. It's just us. We can stay in.
That can't work. I'm sorry. No, not
No,
with
I'm sorry. The
not
point
the
is, they
amount of
got
money
married
make.
you got married at first sight.
Yeah.
You haven't dated. You
Yeah, exactly.
haven't done those years of dating before. You might be like, oh, we're married now. Let's tie up our shoes.
Maybe
We're
with
gonna
the
have
easy
children
route.
and this and that.
He didn't want to waste his money dating. He thought, you know what, let me go on this show. I'm gonna skip that dating stage, skip wasting all that money for it not to work out. Now I got my wife. We can just relax. Like, what am I doing all that fancy stuff for? He doesn't want to date. He just wants to wrap up.
No, he doesn't want to.
Do you think some of it came from the fact that his business isn't doing very well, and he wants to kind of save in order to have money for maybe the business or to put into some other things?
Rex?
I don't think so. I think it's maybe being an entrepreneur has made him this way. But I get the impression that even if he had like a high income, he seems like the type of person who wants to stack it for a rainy day. That's like his mentality, and it's the way he wants to live.
Yeah, saver.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have saver versus spender mentalities here, which is what most relationships are. If you have two spenders, boy, look out. But a saver and a spender, you usually have that in a relationship. Someone enjoys spending because the spending gives them freedom. Someone enjoys saving because that's their security. So it really just depends on the individuals, and you have to kind of work it out. I think the budget can be reworked, not necessarily even taken all away, but like £500 on groceries, $500 on groceries is £362. Just want to let you know, per month for solo. But obviously, I think you can shift some of that money into a dating budget. You know what I mean? Like I'll be honest, you're making money for a reason. You have to chop some of it. You can't take it to the grave. You understand? Yeah. So let's make some memories. We're making good amount of money. I'm not saying that don't save. I'm saying that they're saving $3,000. She's saving $3,000 already. Like in her budget, she puts £3,000. That's why the budget's $9,000. It's actually £6,000 because she saves £3,000 of it.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, she puts £3,000 away for savings. So it's not as bad.
Bree is a boss out here.
She is, but she's not paying her debts. That's financial literacy there. But yeah, so they can put some money into the dating budget. I think Vincent's issue is not necessarily just her budget. I think it's, if you spend that much on yourself, how much are you expecting me to spend on you? Because remember, like, the culture in America is, I think, it's slightly different to the US. Like, they're expecting that the man pays for pretty much everything. I'll be hearing it every single day when I'm on these nets. Like, so the culture of him paying for stuff, everything that's going on, he's probably thinking, if this is what you spend on yourself and you're expecting me now to spend that on you, right, to cover as a man, quote unquote, then maybe that's why the sweat is coming from his forebrow. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I get that from Brie. I know typically there's like, he's got to have money, he's got to pay everything. But Brie, I get the impression that she's used to having her own. I don't get the impression that she wants to put it all on him because she's aware of his situation. He's on the come up.
Yeah, but she said she wants a man that makes more than her.
She did, no, but I agree with Raquel. Like, I think she understands what position he's in, and he keeps promising, "I'm gonna make lots of money. I'm gonna get you whatever you want." Maybe he needs to not make that promise.
Yeah, he needs to stop.
Maybe he needs to not make that promise. But I would say, Kojo, would you ask your wife to live under the standard she was living when she was single?
No, because I think you
could you wholeheartedly say that to her?
No, but well, that's why you got to cut your cake according to your. You got to eat your cake according to your size, my friend. Listen, she, I think you. That's why you got to have you have the unified budget, which pays all expenses. So all expenses are covered. And then you obviously have your also solo account, which is that, you say, hey, look, you've got your solo account. There's so much money you put into your solo account for you, but then there's a percentage that goes into our savings for future joint, efforts that we're going to be going for. So I think if you do it that way, then no one really talks. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if she buys a £200 bag and she can afford a £200 bag within her solo budget, I don't want to know. I don't need to know. And I don't care. Right? Yeah, go on, Rax.
I have an issue with that. Even if it was in her budget and she came home with a £200 bag, he might just be like, that could have been extra savings, honey, because that's who he is.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. That's why you got to agree on the budget from the beginning. So he can't sway from that. So if you go to the budget and we have said, okay, all our bills are paid by this amount, then we have a savings budget which is going towards Partly's going towards a new house because they're trying to buy a house. Partly's going towards future kids, college fund or whatever. Partly going towards whatever. When I worked in banking, I love white people because they come up in there, 10 accounts, bro, 10. And you be like, why you got 10 accounts? Yeah, this one's for the kids, their future funds. This is for our spending. This is for this. So they make it very, very clear. So there's none of this chat about, oh, he's went and bought a £200 bag. You can't chat. That's in the spending department. That's in the disposable income. You can't complain. Do you know what I'm saying? It's somebody who hasn't got a mind to see that when we separate this and give you the individual accounts for different things, then you don't cry about it. Establish the goals you need to achieve during the course of the next few years, how much it will cost you to make that, then start setting it out on a budget. Like, this is your disposable income, this is my disposable income. Cool. Then that way, if you now come with a £500 bag and we know that the budget said you can only spend £200 a month, then we can say, but Sophie, what one? And you may say to me, well, I've been saving for the last 3 months. All right, cool, I get it. But if you come and spend £500 and you know that you've gone over your limit, then now we have a discussion to have because you know the budget. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know the budget. So either we're going to have to cut back the next 2-3 months so that you can save that £200 that you was meant to be saving, or, it's actually, so do you know what I'm saying? That's how it should be done. But if you just look at it as a budget, he spent 9K and he's looking at it, he's going to sweat. The poor boy, he's sweating. He literally was like this, like a Nigerian.
Yeah,
sweating.
He was not on it at all. At all. He said, if we got the pool table in the house, why are we going outside? If there's rice at home, why are we going to the restaurant? But Bree's a young lady, she wants to go out and be wined and dined. So I think he just wanted to bypass that whole dating stage and just end up shacked up with a woman. That's what it seems like.
So maybe 9K isn't a lot for outgoings. Maybe
I don't think it's not as much like when you look at it, because it's actually 6K. Remember, it's 6K because 3K is going.
Yeah,
savings.
if you're on combined.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
think it's all right. 6K is not so bad. But she does need to start paying her debts off. That don't make no sense. You're paying £300 for student loans, and you're saving. Start paying off that debt because it's accruing interest on a mad scale. And you got credit cards as well, outstanding £300 on that as well. That needs to start getting paid.
Because when I think of her £9,000, I'm thinking about as that all after paying bills, but it's not. It's including all of it. Sorry, I'm just thinking through this, guys.
It's true.
He is 100%.
He went all out with that one.
He did still. I mean, how much would a date budget be like? How much should a date budget be like? Do you know what I mean?
Depends on where you're going to eat, right? Or what you're going to do. Monthly.
I think it really depends. Like my monthly dating budget before marriage was, we didn't have a budget, to be honest. We did what we wanted. We went where we wanted. We did everything.
That's cool.
Now we've got 2 people studying. I'm studying for my master's. He's studying for his PhD. And we can't be living that life no more because we have to pay for our courses. But
how did you come to that understanding? I think that's the most important thing for anyone who's watching. That will probably be more interesting. How did you both get to that understanding? I know you both were studying, but how did you both get to that point of saying we're willing to sacrifice?
I'm still working on it, to be honest.
That's why I asked her.
Like, my husband in the relationship, he's a saver.
Okay,
so
cool.
He would be like, not buy clothes for a year and be like, it's fine because we're saving towards something. That's not me. Like, I'm like, I need to buy something every month. Otherwise, I feel like, what's the purpose in making all this money that we make? Do you know what I mean?
Briana in the building.
But that's what I was thinking, because I thought about their combined income and I'm just like, we're actually making a decent amount combined. So I'm like, maybe it's not that much because in a couple of years it's going to be like the same. But I think for me, it's just, there's other priorities. And the point is, if I was 28, just got married, didn't want children, was renting, no one's telling me nothing. We're going on 3 holidays. We are going to, go on, spend £400 a month on dates and go to whatever we want. Like we would do. We go theatre, we go here, we go there, we go for a meal, we go. And things aren't cheap nowadays. If you take a girl to the cinema and to a restaurant.
£45 on the cinema thing, you know.
And that's just look, That's the thing. Like when the guy takes you on a date to a cinema, I think nowadays it might even take you out to eat because they're like, if you're gonna buy both tickets, then you're gonna go chat. If I'm on a date, I'm getting the popcorn, I'm getting the sweets, I'm getting the chocolates, I'm getting everything, and that thing is starting to add up. Plus a drink.
Yeah, you make your own.
£100 for dinner as well. That's easily £100.
Easy.
Every weekend.
Easy.
That's £100 each weekend. So easy.
400 quid a month.
Yeah.
Easy. And that's not even like a high-end restaurant. Like Nando's is getting expensive out here. When I go to Nando's now, I'm just like, I could spend this money at somewhere with better food. Why is Nando's becoming so expensive? If I can't eat for £10 at Nando's, I'm gonna just go to some restaurant on the high street because
that's why you need to get the vouchers, guys. That's why you need to get the digital vouchers, guys. It doesn't look as cheap. It's on your phone. No one knows.
Nando's.
So okay, if you
gotta find your ways, darling. Okay, some of us have got them vouchers.
If you took a girl out on a date, would you openly use a voucher?
Of course, on my digital phone voucher, so she can't see it.
First date.
No, so
she wouldn't know. She wouldn't know.
What about if you could only eat from
Alright, scan that real quick.
Scan that quick.
But Kojo, what about if the voucher only allowed you to eat from the select menu? Because that's usually what happens. You don't get the menu where you can get everything. They might be like just the chocolate dessert, just this.
You know what? I wouldn't.
You just got to like guide her, like, look at the selective menu. It looks good.
Like, would you be upset if a guy tried to use a coupon on a date? I wouldn't have been upset.
Yeah. I'm not here for that. Yeah. I'm not here. I'm not here for coupons.
I don't need to do it anymore. So, but yeah.
Nah, because I'm like, you need to pay. You need to no coupons. Even if you have a coupon, that's relationship.
When you're in a relationship, you can do those things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, I 100% I agree, but I think when you're dating, I think for me, I need to see that a man is willing to like wine me and dine me, and that I just wouldn't feel comfortable if a guy pulled out a voucher.
But what if he wants to wine and dine you, but he's on a budget because he's got financial goals? So he wants to come out of you. But instead of spending 60, he wants to spend 40 because he's still got, I don't know, a savings goal to hit that month.
Do you know what? Then you need to be the sort of man who is going to be mindful of your money. So you might not be able to take me to a certain restaurant, but what about if we went to an outdoor food festival where £40 is going to get you like 3 different types of food? Or you can find like little niche restaurants that aren't that expensive, like Lebanese food isn't that expensive, and you can probably get away spending money. Or go for a lunchtime date, where a lunchtime date is a little bit like there are ways that take her to brunch.
So it's not the amount of money spent. You just don't want to see a coupon come out.
No,
you
need to. For me, you need to prepare for the day. You need to, if you know that you ain't got a lot of money, don't ask her to pick the restaurant.
That's the select menu right there.
You know what? I had a bad experience one time.
Seriously?
It was bad. It was bad. Oh God.
We're listening.
And it was someone making it like they weren't trying to date me, but they were clearly trying to date me, but trying to do it as like, I want to be your friend. Terrible experience. Anyway, they decided that we should go to the Shard, a restaurant in the Shard. So the Shard is like a very high building. It has several restaurants in there, which are very expensive. So I've been there a few times before, myself, with friends' birthdays, but he decided we should go to the Shard. And then when it was time to order, you know, you can just tell that the budget ain't budgeting. Like there are limitations.
You only got up a certain level as well.
Yes, I can't run that. I can't.
It was like no starter. He didn't have a start. You know, they set the tones. There's like it's almost like drinking water or like not having a starter. You just know
the water. The water is the giveaway, Raquel.
I always have a water.
And then when it came to the main course, so at the Chinese restaurant, you don't get like a meal. You don't get like your chicken and your rice together. You have to order your noodles, your sides, and then you order your main. And it was time to order. They just ordered noodles, but like the plainest noodles of them all. And I just knew what time it was. So I humbled my order as well. If it was me and I was going, I would order what I want. I'd eat good, but I'm on someone's budget. I can tell this is just, you know, it's not a place that they should be. So yeah, it wasn't a great time.
Was it not great because it's like he's taking you to an expensive restaurant, but then limited what you can do?
It. Well, you can't afford it. Why are we there?
That makes sense.
Why are you going all the way there to go and eat dry noodle like on its own?
It's embarrassing. I feel embarrassed for the guy.
do that.
I
And
can't do it. I had
dessert, but not to be romantic, because I know you're counting the coins. Like, we just shouldn't have gone there. You shouldn't have picked that choice.
Do you know, Rico, you're a good woman. I don't know if I would have humbled myself. I'd ordered probably what I wanted, because I'm like, you bought me here.
And you're washing dishes. And you're washing dishes.
The police are not coming for me. The police aren't coming for me. I'm not arguing over the bill either.
You're going in the van tonight.
You can enjoy my company. I can watch you eat your noodle. Yeah, I can eat my noodle if I have to. And I'll go home and we ain't got to do this again.
I'm telling you.
Wash dishes.
I am not here for that. No.
Sophie, that's the loving start of a relationship. Imagine both in the kitchen washing dishes.
Sophie, you're gonna go and order the whole menu, and you can clearly see
he's struggling. He's sweating bullets.
I'd probably just order because I knew at the end of the day I'd put my money on the table. It's like, this is for mine. Thank you so much, and walk off. Because I'm like, you're not gonna take me out, and I'm gonna be not ordering what I want. I don't play that. I don't do it. I was saying to someone else, like, when I go on a date,
not to pay.
I don't eat before I go on a date. I don't understand this whole.
You don't eat before you go on a date?
No, I'm going out for a meal. You're taking
worst
me
type of person
out
to go on a date.
for a meal. Look,
ordering everything on the menu.
When I went out with the second date. The second day I went out with my husband. Like, he took me to this very nice Thai restaurant in like central London. And when the bill came, they came with like the booklet, and they came with like the booklet. He didn't even look at the the receipt. He's put his
like
card
that, yeah?
back. He put his card in and he slid it back to them and was like, "Thank you." And I was just like,
yeah,
I love
thing
that.
Ever.
Then the card declines, and it's like,
exactly.
Card did not decline.
It's like,
and it's not because my husband's a businessman, but like I said, he's the saver. So he was like, I can take you anywhere and pay because I know I got money in the bank. But that was so attractive to me because I was like, oh, okay. Cool, all right then.
It is nice.
That's right, Layla. It's handled. That's how it was. It was handled.
It is nice. It's a nice experience. It's nice when guys can do that. But I find it sometimes it's difficult to, as a base, they should be doing it. But I wouldn't personally get all of my hopes up because you don't like it. You could have whipped out the card. It could be 1 of 10. The balance behind the scenes could be at 10K or 11K limit. Like, it's hard to judge things off just the date itself because people are
very true.
Like, you don't know.
So your husband didn't even look at the bill. I would have looked at it because that service charge, I'm not paying it. You already know I don't pay that service charge. I don't care how good your service was. You are paid to serve.
Sophie's horrified. She's never going out with you.
This is it. This service charge thing gets me on my nerves. I'm not paying. Why am I paying service charge?
Well, okay.
I've already paid for the plates on my plate to eat the food on. So am I paying for the fork and knife while I'm there as well?
Kojo,
you ain't dating no American girl, are you?
Yeah, I'm definitely not. They already know I don't.
You're staying firmly in the UK.
They already know I don't. You already know
well, in America it's different. Their hourly rate is so low that the service makes up what they're actually taking home. But in the UK, people are paid a decent enough hourly rate, so the extra is just extra. Well, have you been to America? If you go to America,
no, I've never been to America.
They want to fight you.
I've never been to America. I've never been to America.
It's highly offensive not to pay service.
They will,
is it?
Yeah, and to pay, you have to pay like 25% of the bill for service charge. It's something like 25%.
So why not just put that on the plate? See, do you know why I fight things like this? Because things like this don't make sense to me. Why not add that to the meal? Why am I getting added that after? You're giving me an option to pay for it. I don't want to pay for it now. What? Don't ask me. You asked me if I want to pay, and I said no, I don't want to pay it. Now what? Why are you beefing me?
I've refused service charge at some places because sometimes it's a ridiculous amount. It's a ridiculous amount of money on top. But on a date, no. I think come on, Kojo. There's nothing more unattractive than a man arguing at a date about not paying the service charge.
There's no argument. There's no argument. It's just see that £30 that you saw in there. Can you just take that off, please? Thank you.
One time I went to this restaurant and like the waiter, the manager came out and was like, "Is there a reason you don't want to pay the service charge?" And I was like,
"Yeah, you're doing your job."
The manager. Yep. And it was in some overpriced restaurant in central London. The food was garbage, and I was just said because it says it's optional.
Yeah.
So I'm opting not to pay.
Oh, so you was doing that, yeah?
I wasn't doing that.
Why are you doing that for? It doesn't matter how bad a meal is. No, it doesn't matter how bad a meal is. You should still tip.
It's the service.
It's
not food. It's the
I
service.
said on a date, you can't. Come on, Raquel. What would you do if you went on a first date and the guy started arguing about the service charge at the end of the night with the manager?
So is that what service is bad? Or but on principle, Kojo does not pay service. So should he front on his first date? And
I don't front. I don't front. That first date, you better know about me. I don't front. I'm not paying that service charge.
That's who he is.
If we go to McDonald's and I don't pay service charge, why do you want to pay service charge when I'm another restaurant? You're only going to serve plates to my table. How hard is serving a plate?
McDonald's is a fast food restaurant.
But I'm still serving it. Do you know how I used to struggle with McDonald's? I used to serve it. I would fold the bag up nicely for you, lay it on your table for you. Anything else you like, sir, madam?
When you worked in the industry, you didn't get any tips.
I'm not mad at that. I'm saying it is your job. It's a service job. You get paid to serve. Why are you now asking for tips? You get paid to serve. It's an option. Let me have the option. And my option is no.
It's just like a tip, you know. So for the server, say when you do your streams and stuff and people got the option to like tip you or add a comment, it's like a little, you know, thank you.
And does everybody tip me? No. Nobody. Does everybody send me money on PayPal? No, they don't. Because they have the option.
But Kojo, all of them are paying your bills by viewing.
They do, but they don't pay. It's YouTube who pays. Just like the restaurant pays you. So you are getting paid. You're robbing my account. But no, I hear that. I do hear that.
On this topic, someone said when women pretend to pay, like should women pretend to pay or not? I'm not down with pretending, you know.
Oh, like pretending you're taking your card out.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna sit there.
But worst comes to worst, so if you said you pay, so you'd eat the meal. I just don't. Yeah. Anyway, let me know.
Yeah, like for a guy, for me, if I paid on a date, it's to let you know that
I don't need you.
It's to let you know this isn't a date. It's to let you know this isn't a date. So any guy that's asked me out on a date, I haven't reached for my card because they're wanting to pay because they wanted to take me out. Do you know what I mean? Men want to do that because it makes them feel manly. It's the manly role. It's chivalrous or whatever. So if I have to put my hand in my pocket, it's to let you know, no, this isn't a date. So if a guy's taking me out for a coffee, you friendly like, oh, let me get coffee. I'm like, no, I'm good. You know, I get it for myself. So they know we're friends.
So if you reach into your pockets, that's to say that it's you've basically said that you don't approve of the date at the time. No,
not if I was on that. I wouldn't go on the date. I'm not getting dressed up to make you feel like it's a date. That's just not fair on you. Do you know what I mean? If I know, but I'm saying like if a male friend takes you out and you know you get caught.
You should have left that one.
Leave it up there for them to see it. Go on. So sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, like, Raquel, like you were saying, hasn't the guy ever snuck tried to make it a date when you thought it was just a brethren thing? And they come like, oh, let me get this for you. And you're just like, oh, okay. Whereas like male friends, they're like, either like, if it's a male friend, then you know, like someone I've grown up with, they'll be like, oh, I get your drink, it's cool. But when you want to go somewhere nice to eat, you're like, I'll get it. I'd be like, no, I'm okay, thank you. I get it for myself.
So what we need to be, normalizing now is women actually asking men out so they can start paying?
I knew we were going to get here. It was a matter of time.
I'm not doing that.
It was a matter of time, but I was going to say, because you're doing like generalizations of what men typically or used to like to do, like taking women out. But nowadays, it's changing, as Kojo said.
You know what? I think I was at the cusp of the change, Raquel, because this is new to me. When I hear stuff about, I heard a woman say the other day, yeah, and if I ask them out, I'll pay because I asked him out. I was confused.
Absolutely.
No, people do that.
I was confused.
But that's the rule. No, see, you can't change the rule. The rule is whoever asks whoever out should pay. So why now are you trying to switch the rule?
I've even heard after a few, like, say it's like the guy price and it's the girl wants, and after like maybe date 4 or 5, and people start splitting apparently. So all going on.
But Kojo, I gotta ask, if the girl's gotta ask you out,
yeah,
are you interested enough in her, or were you just shy? Because I've just always assumed if a guy likes you enough, he'll just ask you out.
Listen, if I liked a girl and maybe I was shy and she asked me out first, I would take the lead and charge after that. I don't mind. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, my money's set up differently than it was before. You have to remember this. When your money's not set up right, you have to think like your money's not set up right. So you can't think luxury when your money's not right. You understand? So when your money's right, you can think about this. You will also not look at the bill. You will also not look at the bill because your card can cover it. You know what I'm saying? But when your card can't cover that, you will look at the bill and scrutinize it. and make sure that the bill is exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying?
No, Kojo, you can't. No,
I'm just telling you straight. If the money's
Kojo,
not right,
take them to a restaurant that you know you can afford. That's
so when I'm taking to McDonald's, why are you complaining? I'm taking to where I can afford, where I won't struggle and look at the bill menu, and you're complaining now. Why are you complaining?
No one's complaining, but when you get a certain standard of girl, don't get upset. The girl who's going to be happy to take to McDonald's on the first date, then don't get upset.
No, but she shouldn't get upset when I'm taking to McDonald's. I'm cutting my cloth according to what I have money for. If you have that kind of money, listen, show me then, innit?
As an adult, Kojo, we're not. It's not like we're 15.
But this is really part of my issue
Let's
when
stop
it comes to dating, though. Like, some people will do things in the beginning to like show off, but then it's okay not to do it later on. It's like, okay, that's part of the chase, but also show some of the reality early on as well. So, like, I wouldn't support like a guy constantly wine and dine in the dating stage, but then when they get together, it's just like, feet up, it's over, it's only McDonald's. Now, I don't think that's fair. But also, if a guy just wants to go to the lower class type of restaurants from the beginning, and that's all he knows and always ever going to be, that's what it is. So she knows from the jump.
And listen, anybody.
Are you okay with that, Raquel?
I'd like to go to nice places. Yeah, I would.
Where do you want to go, Raquel?
But I don't mind, like, say in the early stages, like, say it's like a car thing or a thing. I don't know.
Where do you want to go?
So you're going to be like, you'll be happy to go to McDonald's?
In Oxford Circus. That's
on a
up
first
street.
date.
Yeah,
On Oxford Circus, that's up street.
Like, dating now.
Are you paying for my travel?
Where do you get
I get a TFL.
The first date's official, because sometimes people might chill before they actually have like their first official date.
That's true.
I don't know. I'm not well versed.
I'm not going to take anyone to McDonald's, by the way. I'm just playing. But
you take to the restaurant and get out the coupons and then take it to
when you get the bus ticket. But nah. I mean, obviously, I think you got to work with what level you're at. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, yes, you want to be able to.
Funny chat.
The chats are going wild. Listen, I wonder we have to do a live about this, because this is obviously interesting to see what people think and about dating.
That's the thing. It's a man, guys. I'm not saying that I go to big high-end restaurants or anything, but we go to nice places. You can go to a nice place that isn't going to cost you the sun, moon, and stars.
All right, no. Let me ask you a question. So what's your level then? Where is the level at that you're saying, woo, okay, we're close to the bottom? So like for you, because obviously we all have our levels, right? McDonald's, we know it's a no-go, right? For us who are grown, we know it's a no-go. But so what would be, let's say first date Nando's, would that be a no-go? Because Nando's is like a normal kind of thing in it for us in the UK. Is that a no-go on a first date?
I think for me now, yes.
It's not very exciting, is it? Like, you might want to, if it's your first date, first impression. Do you know what? It's hard in this day and age, because a lot of people are on the app, so they're just having like these first hookups with people, and they don't want to go and spend, I don't know, £200 at a restaurant because there's a rotation. Is it going to go anywhere? I think it just depends how well you know that person in the beginning before you're putting out for the first date. Because what if you go and spend £200 and it's just nonsense, Where people will do people do Nando's or they do a coffee date just to, sift the wheat from the chaff in the early stages. Nando's is that
You need to leave Nando's out of this.
Look, I don't.
Go on.
Like a Pizza Express is okay. Like, I'm happy to go to a Pizza Express.
It's like Nando's, Pizza Express.
It is, but at least
is it Nando's perception though? So, because she said Pizza Express, you're right. Pizza Express ain't no better than Nando's. Let's not trip. It's not no different.
I think
but it's less casual.
Is a bit better, yeah. Like you will see people who make a little bit more effort when they're going to like a Pizza Express. That's for Nando's. Nando's is you're in Stratford, Westfield. You're shopping with the girls and you're just like, oh, we're hungry. Okay, let's go get a quick Nando's. And you're sitting down next to 14-year-olds who are gassed because they're out for the day.
What Nando's you not going to? Nando's I go to, everyone's adults there. But what's going on with you lot Nando's? You like the play section.
If I was a guy though, and I really wanted to woo a girl and let her know that I really wanted her to be with me, then I would go all out. You researched, you Google the most romantic restaurant. Make it an event. If you want to make it memorable and special, then that's exactly what a man should do.
Okay,
But if you're on a rotation, then you do have to
you can't
think.
afford that.
And what I've seen some guys do with friends that I know, they take them out for drinks because I guess they're trying to work out if you're worth the meal. So they'll be like,
sense.
oh, well, they are, aren't they? That's what
That's
they're
good
trying
sense.
to
That
say.
makes
They're
good
kind of like,
sense.
let's go out for drinks because you could spend an hour having drinks and be like, this person is a bit boring, they're a bit dead, they look completely different from their picture, and you only have to spend what, £30?
Listen, that McFlurry after you've had a date, powerful. Okay, no, I get that. I get that. What? Hey, look, are you telling me the McFlurry after a banging date is not the one?
How long were you at
No,
McDonald's for?
I think
How long did I work there for?
Always
Yeah.
I worked there for 5 years.
Wow.
I saw everything when I was there, man.
I can
McDonald's was
imagine.
powerful. Everything was there.
Entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, yeah, I wouldn't expect anyone to be on there as an older person who has them. Again, your money has to be set right, but I wouldn't expect you to be at McDonald's on your first date. I expect that's something that you guys just do. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's obviously, again, I think you discussed that with the person you're with. Sometimes we've got these expectations, and I'm like, are people actually even speaking about these expectations? I know we know that they're in the air somewhere, but do people speak about their expectations? Why is this not a conversation? You know what I mean? To say, hey, this is my expectation.
I think that's tough, because as much as I expect a certain level of treatment, I just expect to be treated with respect and to be made to feel like I'm special. That's what I expect. That's what it comes down to. And there's a million ways to do that, but I don't really like to talk about money in general. Like, I'm not the person that's going to be sitting down talking about how much do you earn? That's not really me. So maybe it will be good to discuss like what are the expectations of a guy before a date. But I just know for myself, I would never be that. I would never be that person.
It's interesting. There was a question that came up. I watched the video just the other day. First date. If they come to pick you up, are you expecting the man to come to your door, knock on your door, and like old school gentleman, then walk you to the car door and open the car door for you. You get in, he slams the door behind you as well. Like, do you know what I mean? And gets around the other side. Is that what would you expect that? Are you expecting that chivalrous behavior? He should open a chair when you're going to sit down at the table. Do you expect all of that as well, or is it calm if he just sits down when you sit down?
I think, why not? They're nice things to do. Like, people just don't do them nowadays. But if you do them, you get extra points. It's like, okay, and he did this and he did that. It's a nice thing to do, but it's lost now on like the current generation. People don't do it as much. But if you want extra brownie points,
okay.
I think definitely come to the door. You don't need to like open the car door and all that. Like Raquel said, that would be really lovely. But I find that really uncomfortable. That if a guy's gonna run, or he's running to make sure he opens every door for you before you go in. I'm like, it's okay. Like, but definitely on the first date, come to the door, knock on the door. Don't ring the horn or call you and say, yeah, I'm outside. Just, no.
Fair enough. Okay. No, fair enough. Okay. So, but you are expecting to pull out the chair then? So maybe not the door.
Not
thing,
necessarily. No, he doesn't need
chair?
to pull out the chair. It's fine. Okay. I'm cool with him not pulling out the chair.
Rax, you cool without the chair pulling out and stuff like that?
I think I'd like it, even for the first time. Every time, because I said it can come quite clumsy, right? You might just fall out of it, but if it's the first date, that's a nice touch. It's a nice touch. So all this that we're talking about, Vincent is happy he missed out on all of this. He didn't have to worry about how many Briana's got to pay for, whether he takes her to, was it Chick-fil-A or Popeye?
It would have been a Chick-fil-A, and you know that.
All that. And I think that's what he wanted to do, to be honest.
I need to do Vincent and skip all that nonsense. Yeah. And anybody tipping out here, you know what I'm saying? Nah, jokes. Obviously, I think American is different from UK. We don't have it as such, so I know we have like a minimum wage, so there you go, you got paid. So obviously I took the conversation way left, sorry guys. We were talking obviously about Vincent, you've missed out, bro. You've missed out on this chat. Listen to this, you've dodged. There was also the situation with them, which was also the kid situation, because she was scared of having children as well, because she said about she had high blood pressure thing and and thing there, you know what I'm saying? What do we think about that particular situation? I'm not gonna lie, I did think that Vincent could have been a little bit more a bit more receptive to that. You know what I mean? That would have been my first initial reaction, no matter how much I feel about it. But I also understand why he probably didn't necessarily do anything per se. But yeah, what would you guys say on that?
I think again for them it could be a real big issue because, as you said, he didn't show much empathy to her concerns about potentially, I don't know, dying in pregnancy. It's just like, I can't imagine being on my deathbed without any children. So for him, it's a deal breaker. That's what he said. He said it flat out. It's a deal breaker for him, whereas she's just very much interested in it, earning her money, spending her money. Whatever happens, and he wants children. Is it within like a year or 2 years? So they're at very different places, and it could, cause a big issue.
I don't know if men. You tell me, Rico, because you're the resident mummy, you're the resident parent on the panel. But I don't know if men really grasp everything that a woman has to go through when they're pregnant.
I don't think so.
We don't.
I think that's why he could make such a flippant comment, because I think childbirth I think it's a miracle. It is the most miraculous thing. I've seen my sister give birth to all 3 of my nieces. Like, it is a miracle. And if I'm fortunate enough, and God willing, if I have children one day, then I'll be able to experience that. But your body it's trauma. Your body is going through trauma. Your body's never the same even afterwards. And I'm not even talking about like aesthetically. Like, parts of your brain don't even wake up until you're pregnant. Did you know that? Like, parts of the female brain aren't really inactive until you're pregnant, and then those parts awaken. It's the most phenomenal thing. And your body as a woman, if you're able to have children, is geared up to give life. Your breasts now feel like all the parts of your body are starting to act now that it has this life inside of you. And when you have complications in pregnancy, which a lot of people have complications, it can be very scary. And when you're thinking that Black women, at least in the UK, are 4 times as likely to die as white women in childbirth, and then you add in a pre-existing health condition, I can understand that's a very, very scary thing. And then you don't have any control over your body changing and developing and all these things that are going on inside of you. And so I can understand it's a real fear, and I don't think he engaged with that whatsoever. It was very much from a point of he wants his own child. And I think a lot of men don't think about it because they don't have to do the carrying.
Yeah, I agree. He was thinking about himself initially. He wasn't thinking about her, what she's going through, what it takes for him to say that when society just expects you as a woman to have a child. It's literally, what about me? I want my family.
Yeah. I mean, as a male, I didn't really know much about pregnancy and what it entails. Not even just what it entails. That's when it goes good. I didn't know what happens if it goes bad. I'm hearing all sorts of stories. When I started, researching into it, I said, "Hey, this is a life and death situation, bro. Like, if you hear some of the stories, it will shake you to your core. You will think twice before you start complaining about having children." And I think us men don't get that luxury of having those kind of conversations or listening to those type of conversations with women. This is something that's obviously most of the time that information is shared amongst other women. If that even, sometimes I've heard that, even you don't know until you're having your own child, that's some of the stories. So, I think us men don't really get those stories. We don't hear about those things. So we actually don't know the struggles that you guys are going to go through, that are life and death. And even after you delivered a child, things that can happen after, man. I mean, I heard stories and I was shook. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. So I have a newfound appreciation for women, going through childbirth. It's a miracle, as Soph was saying. So yeah. So
I don't know if they're going to be able to get. I don't know if they're going to be able to get past this.
Yeah, and I don't think she's pressured into doing it if she's really unsure as well, because she's got anxiety about it. It affects the pregnancy. If she's having a child, she doesn't really want to have a child. That's not good for her mental health either. She could resent the child and have, it can just open a can of worms. So they need to be on the same page when it comes to this.
Agreed. And I don't think he's going to back down. I think Vincent's a very traditional man. He's from Dominican Republic. But I think in terms of Caribbean mindset, African mindset, it's that kind of he he wants his children. You know, he wants a legacy. He
That's
wants
right.
he wants his namesake. So I don't know if there's going to be a workaround. Men who are like that, it's not
That's
a
why you
bad
pay on the
thing,
first
but
date.
they're not the first ones who are going to be like reaching for adoption. Do you know what I mean?
So this is what it makes me think, right? I have never seen a maths application form, but you're telling me there's not a section where they ask about children or how soon you want to have
I don't
children.
get. Yeah,
I
they
agree.
do ask this.
I agree.
You know, that's a big part of whether you're compatible or not. So
Yeah, Yeah, I agree that it's the same with Erik and Virginia. It's the same thing. Like, why are we
Yep.
putting people together on deal breakers? Like, these are heavy deal breakers. Children or no children, they shouldn't be put together if they don't want to agree to the same thing. Do you know what I mean? I think that is irresponsible of MAF unless people are lying on the application. You know, we can't be hoping on a whim like, I think I want kids, or I'm not sure if I actually want kids. Then if they're not sure, then put them down as a no. Because anything that's not a yes is a no. You know what I mean? Like, because then that person can say, okay, maybe I do feel like I'm in the middle. Or even not even say no, maybe say middle ground, and someone else is also middle ground, then fine. But yeah, we can't be having this whole someone's not really sure and putting them with somebody else who is sure about having kids. We've seen it one too many times now. And I think it's getting a bit suspect on MAFS's ability to put people together. I think they need to start looking at that. That don't make no sense.
definitely.
Yeah. Go on,
There was
Max.
also the bit about with her dictating when he wakes up.
Oh, that was madness. That was madness. Go on, Max.
Oh, do you know what? I was surprised, but I weren't surprised. I was like, she did what? Then I was like, well, this is a very Brie thing to do. And in her defense, I think if I was in with a man and he was lazing about all day and like seeming a bit like a bum, then I might say, you know, well, what are you doing? That's the only time I think it's like justified. But for her to be like, you need to wake up earlier, go bed earlier, not be on your phone at night. It's like, what? What? What do you think, Sophie?
I think she's tripping out here, man. It doesn't make the man he's working long hours. He comes home and then you insist. And then when they said let's compromise, she was like, "Well, you wake up early. We go to bed earlier, and then you wake up early." I'm like, that's not a compromise. He needs to be able to sleep in if he's had a long day. Maybe you're saying not 7 days a week. Sometimes maybe when I have a day off or if I have a late start, you know, I'd love for you to wake up with me. But she's out here. No. I don't know what Brie is on. That's ridiculous.
She's being bossy Brie.
That was the funniest thing for me when it's like she acted like a parent that comes into a room that's like, listen, you've overslept. It's a Saturday. You know what we do on Saturdays? We clean. It's like, yo, like he's a grown. Like, do you know how mad that is? Like, I would actually feel very offended if my partner came into a room like, wake up. Excuse me? You know I've been working hard last night. I'm tired. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Unless a reason. That's true. Maybe he was scrolling his phone.
You're just scrolling
Maybe he
your
was
phone.
scrolling his phone. Maybe he was scrolling his phone. Do you know what I mean?
But he's a grown man. That's his business in a way. Like,
yeah. Unless you got something planned, then I can understand. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, so you might mention it the night before and say, hey, look, do you know what? I was thinking about going into town or something like that. You know how in UK we say town. So I was thinking about going into town or whatever, going to the city, whatever. And then you just go, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to have to wake up at so-and-so time. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of how tired I am, I've agreed to it, blah, blah, blah. But just waking me up because it's nice, because it'll be nice that I'm up with you, is a level of bossiness I can't deal with, bruv. I'm going back to sleep and you're going to have to respect it. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
I pay on the first date.
Fair enough. But if you'd have paid the service charge, she would have let you lie in.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
But if you let her keep the budget, she won't be complaining.
Yeah.
I hear that. And obviously we had also as well, we had Erik and Virginia. Interesting stuff on Erik. Do you know what? I can never stay on one side. That both of them are wrong, and then both of them are right at different points in time. Eric's delivery is absolutely abysmal. It's just as bad as Kevin Samuels' delivery. Honestly, his delivery is as bad as Kevin Samuels. He'd just be saying stuff, and I'd be like, bro, look, you can say that a different way, bro.
What's an example? What did he say?
He said, listen, you've got to make time for me. Like, I'm your husband. You've got to make time for me. And I was like, bro, I'm with you. But you just can't be saying it the way you're saying it, bro. You do sound controlling at this particular time and moment. Other points he made were very, very good. okay, you know, I'd love to make our weekend because, you know, you're 4 weeks in the week, in the 4 weekends you're in with your friends, which I think is ludicrous. But hey,
That's
we're here.
insane.
I know
It's
that's a level of
insane,
madness.
Kojo.
I know it's a level of madness. That's what I'm saying. Like that would be where you argue, but not dictate. You'd argue, right? But he said 1 week, and I said, all right, cool. And she said, and then she was gonna move the goalpost, but you need, and she put a little baby voice on. Yeah, but you got to organize it on the Saturday. I was like, listen.
No, Kojo. The thing is, I think he started off well because what he's asking for is more than reasonable. Even asking for 1 weekend, no, for me, that's ridiculous. I didn't get married so you can spend 3 weekends out with your boys. That doesn't even make any. Does that make
part-time
sense?
wife.
Does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense to me. That ratio is way off. That we have to be having this discussion. So he was just like, I just want one. Now I thought to myself, I feel like he's scraping the barrel, but fair enough. He said, I just want one. She said, no problem. And she was just like, well, not this month because this month's already booked. And he was like, maybe we need to cancel. And in my head, I was just like, Eric, why do you have to have this month? I would just say, okay, no problem. Starting from next month, I want the second weekend of every month. Let's book it so you already know that's what I'm gonna have. He's a pilot. They must do that their rotors for 3 months in advance at least, so they can plan this in. But I feel like he wanted to push her past the point. She said yes, and then it's kind of like, I want it this month, and sometimes you have to cancel your friends. It was just, I think they're gonna stay together. In terms of the 8 weeks, I think past that, it's not going to last a year.
I think they're delusional when it comes to their problems. They really are. They fool each other into believing that they're this perfect couple with just some small minor issues, and they're both sipping from the same crazy Kool-Aid or same crazy juice. It's like, are you in the relationship that we're seeing or not? They'll meet his sister and be like, yeah, everything's great, we're perfect. It's like, what? No, you're really not. I'm going to disagree with Sophie on this one. I don't always back for Eric. I don't always support him. But if he says, yo, this month he needs to cancel 1 weekend out of those 4, I'm not mad at it. Obviously, it's how he says it. It's crazy. But we're married 4 weekends with your friends and you're telling me not this month. What? We just got married. We're talking about early day stage. What do you mean? Like, cancel a plan. We're talking about 8 days, 4 lots of weekends, and you can't cancel 2?
Cancel your plans.
Yeah. I think 2 would be a minimum, but honestly, it just confuses me. Like, if you don't want to spend weekends with your husband, why get married? I don't understand that, because generally most people, that's probably going to be the only time that you have together, and you want to spend it with all your brethren. I don't know. I think what was made very clear from this episode is that Virginia does have a drinking problem, a very big drinking problem. When she wouldn't even have the conversation, I thought that was kind of scary, because he came there and he tried to broach it, and her thing was like, I don't want to talk about it. And I was just like, you have a problem, because you can't even, he said maybe to cut down, but the counselor said, tell her we're going to go for a period with no drinking. And he couldn't even say it. He couldn't even say the word. And she was like, she doesn't want to go there. She has a problem. Yep. She has to drink something every day. No.
I agree that. Go on, Rax, what are you saying?
Yeah, I agree. But they both accepted the fact that their arguments are worse with alcohol. So I was proud of them for that. Even though we couldn't see,
Technically, Virginia doesn't believe that. Virginia doesn't believe that. Virginia said that we'd argue the exact same way if we weren't drunk. It would still happen. So she doesn't believe that.
That's just her making an excuse, isn't it?
Yeah, because she doesn't want to stop drinking.
Still have it.
And that's why she has to spend so much time with her friends as well. That drinking is that camaraderie stuff that she does with the guys. Like, if this was a guy doing this, we'd be concerned, saying you don't want to grow up. And that's actually what Virginia is. She doesn't want to grow up. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be 4 weekends are booked in advance already with your boys to go and drink.
I don't think it's that she just doesn't want to grow up. I think she had a very traumatic upbringing. Like, the divorce really hit her hard. And it seems like it was just a really terrible situation. And I think that she drinks to cover the pain that she's going through. With these feelings that haven't been resolved. because every time she talks about her family or her parents or whatever, it's like visible pain. She runs from any connection, any relationship before she can be hurt or sees a sign of a problem. And I think she's trying to drink to cover up issues that she doesn't want to deal with. And then you can understand when someone's now saying they want to take away her coping mechanism, why she's just like, I'm not even going to talk about that. Because if you take away the alcohol, all I have left are all these feelings that you're asking me to deal with. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a trauma response of some kind, and a method of escapism. It just helps her tap out and go to a different place where she can lose her inhibitions and, you know, have fun. It's tough.
No, she needs therapy.
She
needs therapy ASAP Rocky. Like I said, this is why I said, like, the experts did them both dirty. Virginia should have never been casted. Because because like what are you expecting? Are you expecting Erik to save her? Like, they know this is not. You don't do that. Like, as a therapist, you know that you don't ask people to save people, and that's actually what they're asking Erik to do. Like, when Dr. Pepper said, "Go and tell her that her drinking's an issue," you were basically saying, like, she had an issue before she got here. Like, it's not like, you know, it's not like they
Maybe she covered it. Maybe she covered it.
And then her VT came out and said what she said. Girl, there's no way that she covered it. Her VT at the very beginning introduction was enough for them to say, pull the plug. And they didn't pull the plug.
Maybe they get Africans this year and they were just picking from a rubbish.
That's what Zoom does to you when you're looking at Zoom. She had the drink right beside the laptop. You couldn't see it because it was on Zoom. All right, you would have seen how she looked if you saw her in person, but because of Zoom and the pixelating, that wasn't very good. You couldn't see everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a peak one situation, but yeah. And Erik too's got some problems. He needs to recover from his last relationship. I think he's still hurt. I don't know what that ex did to him. I think she cheated on him, and I think he's still recovering from that cheating as well. So it's making him want to close all the windows and doors around Virginia, like, literally. Do you know what I mean? So I think he also needs to go and, you know, get some therapy around that as well, or just take some time out. Last couple before we go: Ryan and Clara.
I don't think there's anything to say. They're perfect, right? That's what Clara said.
Wow, what a low shaded shot there. Right at the kneecap, take out.
I'm just saying. I'm just repeating what Clara said.
He's like that as well, though. He makes out to people like their relationship is absolutely perfect. I'm used to hearing it from him. I was surprised to hear it from her, because if she acting like Pastor hasn't seen her talking to the girls about how sexually frustrated she is, you know, who do they think they're playing here?
It's just a mess, and I think that those two, in fact, I think Ryan knows what he's doing. Clara doesn't want to admit what she needs, because I think Ryan, when he was just like, how does Clara feel like that? He was like, oh, to be honest, I don't actually know. I'm like, Ryan, she's taking you to yoga, tantric sessions. She talks about, like, you know very clearly that she's not happy in where things are, but he's trying to deny it so that he can keep the situation going. And Clara, she wants to pretend like she doesn't want. She's one of those women that doesn't want to do something that's going to scare the man away. Have I been that woman? Have I? Maybe once. But you want to, if I say the wrong thing, if I do the wrong thing, if I seem too loud or too opinionated or too something, it's going to scare him away. Or if I tell him what it is that I want and what I need from a man and a relationship, he's going to be scared off. So she's not so when he came home and asked her, she was like, well, I'm a little bit, she would have been like, I'm really sexually frustrated, and I think it's really unfair that you get pleasured every night and I am left basically in limbo, and you're treating me unfairly, Ryan, and you need to do better. And chances are I'm not going to interact with you sexually until I know that I'm going to be satisfied. Not as an ultimatum, but it's just not fair on me. Do you know what? Yeah, Layla, I wouldn't be surprised if she did think that, because as far as we can seem to tell, Ryan is the most put together guy she's ever been with.
She said it's the best relationship she's had. And Pastor was like, so she doesn't want to lose it at all. She doesn't want to lose him. But I have no sympathy for her in the sexual arena, because I don't understand why she's still putting out at this point. I don't. I don't have any sympathy.
That's very true. We said the same thing about Paige. So there's no excuse. You're still putting out. That's what people pleasers do, though. That's what people pleasers do. People pleasers do. They do stuff because they want to get it returned. Do you know what I'm saying? And I saw that in the very first VT. I just don't understand. What are the experts looking at? No.
What did she do?
What are the experts looking at?
Please, what did she do? Let us know.
In the VT, she was talking about the situation and saying how obviously every other guy, she falls in love really, really quickly, and that's a red flag straight away. Fall in love really, really quickly. Number two, she was like, there was a situation where I was seeing a guy, literally the first date or whatever, and the guy basically used her for sex and then went to her friend and used her for sex, and I was just like, Clara,
I remember that.
I was like, God, this is looking a bit suspect, sis. Like, and this is regularly happening to you, darling. You need to, hey, you need to get it together. You need to get it together, yeah? So you can see it from a mile away. And I'm like, bruv, if I can see it, experts, what are you looking at? There's no excuse for Zoom because I'm looking at your screen. So I don't know them. I don't see them. You're looking at Zoom. I'm looking at the screen that you're showing me. You know it ain't going the way it needs to go, right? These people are broken. And so what I would love MAFS to do, right? You want to use broken people? Start therapy with them. So there's the pre-6 weeks show. Before the actual show begins, we see 6 weeks of therapy. Intense therapy with these people on the show, and they're going through extensive work on how to improve themselves and the parts of themselves that would be a danger in a marriage. At least give them that resource so that before they get into these situations, we can go, well, they gave them 6 weeks to really try and improve and work on some certain things and give them some tools. Right now it just looks an absolute mess. A mess.
I think, do you know what? I agree that she needs some counselling. I just feel that with Ryan, I don't know if he has an interest in sexual intercourse. I think it's getting weirder and weirder and weirder, the situation. Because now because for me, he can't even provide a timeline. Yeah. When I trust you. I'm like, that's pie in the sky. How long is a piece of string? Who knows when that's going to happen, number one. And then number two, when he's just saying he was in a relationship before where he didn't have sex for 2 years or something. He was waiting, and she was just like, he's done this before. He can go a long time. That is a red flag. And I've been like, I can't do that. So no, Ryan is manipulating her, in my opinion.
I don't know, And well, I think he's got some his own control issues. Not necessarily trying to control her, but he puts up a front. He's got very religious church ability about him. Them ones. He got that green leaf ability. But I think Clara's also got her issues, man. Because this is the second time she's been in a relationship where somebody says, I don't have sex for a year or two. What? Darling, you've got two of them. It's a very rare case, and you've come across two of them, darling.
I agree, Kojo. I feel like...
Why was you...
I think it's weird. I think that it's so... That's what I'm saying. Something's not right there with Ryan. This whole...
Something's not right, though.
I just don't get it. Maybe he's a virgin. I don't know what the answer is. All I know is Clara needs to just strap on a pair and tell him this is not running.
I'm always the only one defending Ryan on this, and I'm not even doing it to be provocative.
Are you defending Ryan?
I have been for this whole sexual situation.
Right now, Raquel. Right now, considering what we just saw in the last episode, you're still defending him.
Absolutely. Why are we dragging his penis out of his pants for this woman? He doesn't want to free up yet. It's his choice. He will do it when he's ready. Like, for once, we see a man in control of his sexual urges, not just throwing it around. And it's like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with him. He could be asexual. He might not have that strong attraction. He could have really good self-control. But I just feel like maybe he's just waiting to see if she's actually the one. And he's not sure yet. And he's not comfortable with her enough yet to go there. He wants to trust her. And can you put a timeline on trust? Can you put a timeline on when you're going to trust someone?
You're not comfortable. You're comfortable. You're getting sloppy toppy.
Thank you.
She probably pulled him down to do that.
Yeah, she put him down, but you're still getting sloppy toppy.
I don't think so. He is getting something. Raquel, I am with you if they're not doing anything sexual. If they weren't doing anything sexual, I'm like, this is a man who doesn't want to cross a line. But the fact that he is being pleasured every night, she says, every night, and then he's holding the one.
Who sent her? She wants to do it. He's just receiving. And like I said, we don't know what he's doing in return. He could be playing with something. You don't know.
Well, he's obviously not doing anything right.
Licking. We don't know what he's doing, but she just hasn't got the whole shebang yet. And he could be waiting to see. I think he still has red flags around her. He's not. Look, the girl's attitude to sex is alarming. He might not want to be another notch on her bedpost. Do you know what I mean? He might actually want it to count. He might be really invested in them building a solid foundation because he doesn't know her from anywhere. He could have valid reasons.
Trying to wind us up. I think you're trying to wind me up. I genuinely do not believe this. I think you're trying to make good life TV. That's what I think, because this doesn't make no sense.
I'm telling you now, I'm never that person that's like, oh, let me play devil's advocate. That's really not me. I just say what I think. And what I honestly think is, what's wrong with just waiting to see if she's the one. Maybe after it reaches the 8-week mark, whatever, 12-week, whatever, he signs that it's official, then he might free it up. But right now, we've got a woman who's got a very strange, well, they both have a strange relationship to sex, but she seems like she's been maybe just very promiscuous, doesn't value it at all. And then he's got this issue with the value and the belief system when it comes to their family. He's big on them all going to church as a family. She's like, yeah, I don't really care. They can worship whoever. He might be thinking, why am I consummating this? Why am I getting physical with you when I may just walk away from this in a few weeks?
But you know the ones where obviously if he's got great self-discipline, then why is he still doing things? He's still doing certain things. He's not that great at discipline. Trust me. There's no man that's like that. There's no man. That. There doesn't exist. Can I just say this? It doesn't exist. There's no man. Okay, not even Jesus. That's why Jesus didn't put himself in that situation. You don't put yourself in a situation like that because there's no man that can resist that. If you're going to keep on putting yourself under again, you have to do a Joseph. You have to run eventually, right? Because it will get you. You cannot keep standing at the door and it's knocking at you. Huh?
What do you think it is then? Because so you're saying he's getting some, but he's not going all the way. What's the reasoning?
The only thing that stops you from doing something like that is either you got an incredible fear. So maybe your performance, you're scared of your performance in that area. Maybe you're scared, in that area, for instance. Or maybe, like you said, it could be asexual, but then you have to clarify that with Clara. Why haven't you told her that? It could be that also you may be homosexual and you haven't told Clara. Why haven't you told the show that? It could be also as well that you just don't like Clara like that. And you're also just as bad as Chris out here, moving mad, just like Haley was too, by using the girl and getting sloppy toppy. Now, there's nobody that is that disciplined that they wouldn't invest in that if you keep on getting sloppy toppy and not entering into the sex situation. Because there's a reason why you're not entering it.
And he might be a virgin. Maybe he's going as far as he's going.
Maybe he's going to... virgins horny.
Listen, I was.
No, but I'm saying...
To me,
I'm saying... Should I tell you why? No, what I'm saying is, maybe he's going as far as he's gone before on the show, and he doesn't want to reveal to her while they're filming that he hasn't got any sexual experience. So he keeps holding off because he wants to maybe explore that once there's no cameras and have that conversation and not have it aired out publicly, because his religious beliefs are so strong. His religious beliefs are really strong, and he's fooling himself as he thinks that they're going to have children and they're going to go to church every week. I'm just like, Clara's not down for that. So
he just needs to be honest. That's my issue with him. He's not honest. I don't like that.
He's not.
Be honest. Because otherwise her mouth would openly tell us why he's got issues, because she can't keep anything down. You got to tell us, bro, what's the issue? And clearly you haven't told her because she don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's problematic. The only conversation they had was that she said, oh, well, he did tell me that, he has been in relationships before where it's been months and years before he had sex.
This is it. And when I heard that, I was just like, Clara, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, he's not going to give you what it is that you want. So she needs to make a decision. How long is she willing to be in a sexless marriage for?
I mean, could you be in a sexless marriage? Rax, Soph, could you be in a sexless marriage?
This marriage isn't a usual marriage. He's just met her. And I just think he wants to just get to know her before he goes all the way.
I'm not going to be in a sexist marriage, man.
Then Rax, why hasn't he? Why he keeps talking about trust is important, but you're getting sloppy toppy. It doesn't make sense. See, so then maybe you are a virgin. Listen, I know I say I think he could be a virgin, right? When I was a virgin, yeah, because I was quote unquote Christian. I wasn't really, but I was in church every week, so you think you're a Christian, really, right? And I had a girlfriend at the time, right? I was doing everything but sex, everything but intercourse. But I told him, I said, I don't want to have intercourse. I don't want to go that far yet because, as a Christian, we shouldn't be. It's because I had a warped sense of what sex really was. I was doing everything else. At least I was providing so the woman can enjoy it. But he's not been doing that, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what's mad about it. Yeah. But I was doing everything else but sex because the way I looked at sex. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why I'm saying he could be a virgin. And I'm hoping that he's a virgin. But to hear that he's been in relationships for months and years and not had sex, for me, just blows my mind. And he hasn't told nobody he loves them. Listen, virgins be telling people they love people very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. When you meet a virgin and they fall in love with you, they fall in love real quick. Trust me. So this whole, I haven't told anybody I love anybody. Now you also don't have sex after a few years. I'm not buying it, bro. Tell the truth. What's really the issue? Talk to us, bro. We're not going to judge you. But we're judging you now.
I think they're going to stay together. They're going to stay together after the 8 weeks. And I just want to wait for the review show, the reunion, to see if they've had sex. That's what I'm waiting for. Because I don't think it's going to happen on these 8 weeks.
I don't even feel like he'd want to tell us in the reunion show because he seems really private when it comes to that stuff. Yeah. Like earlier on when on the honeymoon, he was like to her, please don't divulge what we're doing with anyone. Coda's like, why? If your things turn up, why are you hiding it? But he's just not down for sharing it. He's just not down for having that information out there. He seems very private. For whatever reason, he seems very private when it comes to his sex life.
Because he knows nothing's going on, Raquel, that's why.
So is this what we're talking here? If someone's not happy to have their business out in the streets, it's not
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the reason why Ryan.
Ojo's saying
No. I'm saying the reason why Ryan don't want out in the streets because he knows nothing's going on.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
So if they weren't married, okay, we know it's married at first sight, but two people getting to know each other, trying to figure out whether they're going to be together or not, and they decide not to have sex in the beginning, just they get to know each other. Is that a strange thing to do?
No, it's not a strange thing because it's a dating
married
phase.
At first sight and then married.
It's because you're married. You knew you joined a show called Married at First Sight.
Yeah, but he can still want to lay those foundations like you would if you weren't married.
That's fine. Like if you want to lay the foundations, don't lay them in any sexual way. Don't lay any sexual foundations. Actually get to know each other. Don't take some every night and then be like, oh, I'm not sure how she feels about it. No.
And you're going to have to make a choice.
I'm going to need Clara to stop opening her mouth, to be honest, because I don't want to hear her complaining about this. If you're going every night to go and do this, I'm sorry. Personal problem.
Agreed.
Personal problem. Who told you?
Raquel, would you stop? Was it nighttime? I'd be turning over. I'd be like, oh, night, babe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not playing that game.
She's playing herself. So I don't want to hear her.
You know what it is? Whatever she's doing at nighttime, I think every night she believes it's going to lead to sex. I think every night
thing as well.
She feels like tonight's going to be the night. If I just do whatever it is that I'm doing, if I do enough, good enough, he's finally gonna. And after all these weeks, I'd realize it's not going to happen. I need to stop.
Listen, Ryan's a cold-blooded liar. That's what I'm going to say. He's a cold-blooded liar. Yeah. Look, the fact that he said he didn't know that she was burning tells me everything I need to know. He is a liar. He knew she was burning. He could see it, right? And I obviously I can't watch Unfiltered, but I heard obviously on Unfiltered he also said, and I think the comments here, thank you very much as well. So that the Unfiltered, he said obviously he knew her sentiments. So you're a cold-blooded liar. That's what I'm going to call it as. And she's only following you because you're doing it. So that's what I'm saying. When you don't be honest, this is what happens. So yeah, Ryan, tell the truth, shame the devil, and let's move forward. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you're moving a bit like Luke from last 2 seasons ago with Katie, or whatever her name was. Do you understand? Where he was actually gay, and then he was denying it. He actually was gay. So, bro, it's right. We're not gonna judge you, bro. But then, what I am gonna judge is if you are gay, I'm gonna judge you on that because you knew you came on the show and you knew that. Come on, if you weren't sure,
how many?
No, but if you're not, no. If you're not sure, don't put someone in that situation. That's selfish.
I think so.
That's hella
From a
selfish.
Christian perspective, right? I read an article about like Donnie McClurkin the other day. I didn't even know this, but he has like gay tendencies or had been attracted to people of the same sex.
Yeah.
And they will deny it and try and go with a woman to see, you know, or go through the reversion therapy. It absolutely is. But he could be thinking, God, please give me the strength to be with this woman. Let me do it. I want to follow your way.
Still
and
selfish.
there's a lot of men in the church doing this.
That's still selfish. You know better than Chris at that rate, because you just know like you're going in half-hearted. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You're going in half injured. I wouldn't expect anybody to do that. If you know like you got an ex like Chris is doing that, you're not really sure if you finish with her, and you go into Married at First Sight, you're doing the exact same thing. You're not over that girl. Go and heal, then come. Don't be selfish. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know. He hasn't told anybody anything. See, this is what I'm saying. If Ryan just clears out the air, we don't have this conversation. But now he spoke for the last 20 minutes about what Ryan is or not doing. Last 5 minutes. Hayley and Jacob, real quick. What's your sentiment on them? I don't even remember anything they did on the show, to be honest. So, what's your thoughts on Hayley and Jacob on this episode? Oh well, then again, resident Sophie here. Resident.
You know what? I heard you cussing me. I saw that you cussing me last week.
No, she didn't cuss you. I did.
No, she was like, because Sophie ain't here, we ain't got here. Oh, Hayley's here. Oh, Hayley's like, I was just like, oh, this is what happens when I'm not here, no problem. My girl Hayley is out here trying the hardest of anybody on Married at First Sight, putting in the work, trying to make it work.
Sophie, stop that.
Now I
Get Sophie out of here. What is she talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe she's not trying the hardest. Not of everyone. Okay, I'll accept that. No, but I think this is done. This relationship is dead in the water. They are biding their time until it ends. Jacob, bless his heart, he can't seem to get over the fact that this woman is attractive. He can't get over it. So he's just like, she's attractive, so maybe it's too late. It's too late. He's done too much crazy. This isn't going anywhere. But I give it to Hayley for keep trying. She tries, man. She tries so hard. And I hope she finds love.
Right.
Raquel, you don't agree with me? You don't agree with me, Raquel?
About her trying, like she seems like she's giving the show a go, like to give it a go. I don't feel like it's genuine. I feel like she'll be done. At the end, they were still committed to trying to see if it's going to work, and I'm just so surprised by it because he's clearly not interested in her besides her physical body and how she looks, and we've seen that he's not interested in her, what she gets up to, where she's been, her life. He just wants someone to rub up on, and that looks nice, flat out. Period.
That's true.
You know what it is? I think.
Go on.
Defend your girl, innit?
I didn't criticize her. I was talking about him just then. I didn't know about Hayley.
I said she's bringing all the venom today. Okay, Raquel. No, Jacob. Jacob just has very low standards, in my opinion. When he was talking about his exes, it just sounded like some crazy mishmash.
Yeah.
He has made it very clear that the way he shows love is sex or physical. I think once he's getting sex, he's the sort of man who's willing to put up anything. He's like, you want to buy that, babe? Do it. You want to go to Thailand for a week? No problem. As long as I get sex when you come back. You want to do this? Oh, no problem. As long as all he seems to think of a relationship is being intimate with somebody. And I think if he was intimate, I think if she was having sex with him, he would be like, yeah, I'm so happy. This is the best marriage ever. Because I don't think he has any standards. Because his thing is, the one thing I would ask is, why did it change after 4 days? Which means, why did it change after you had sex with me? No, you don't agree?
She's not attracted to him. She thinks he's as dry as watching paint dry. She's trying because she's married, but she's clearly not attracted to him in any way, shape, or form, whether it's physically or mentally. She was quite disgusted at the fact that he spent the last 10 years just trying to find a life mate, which I felt sorry for him.
No. Let me come in for Hayley right there. She was disgusted at the fact he couldn't recount what he had done for 10 years. She said, "What have you been doing for 10 years in the city?" He was just like,
she wanted to hear that he'd been traveling or he'd done this or done that, but maybe he's past that phase or never had that phase. He was like, I've been dating, trying to find my wife. That's what he's been doing for the past 10 years. That's the answer.
And then he dated Pumpkin Girl, whose name he can't remember. You're telling me that's a normal situation?
He spent his past time working out, eating eggs and steak, and looking for the one. That's what he's been doing. But obviously, she has every right not to like that. I don't blame her, but she's just not here for it at all. I just don't know why they're fooling themselves. And like, he's like, well, if you want it to work, it can work. She's like, yeah, let's try again. You guys aren't feeling well. Hailey's not feeling him, and he just likes how she looks.
Yeah, and I feel like, even though, to be honest, I think in terms of looks, Jacob is on the cusp. I think if Jacob would have had a great personality, she would have fallen in love with him, and his looks wouldn't have mattered. I don't think he's ugly. Like, I think he looked better with the beard this week. They showed a video of him where he had like his beard had grown out, and I thought that looked quite nice. But I'm just saying, he's the sort of man you could have fallen in love with if he had a great personality. But the personality is just not saying anything.
Yeah. I don't know. Jacob, yeah. He's no. I'm not gonna lie, I do see a bit more of Hailey's point, but she's still Karen to me. But you know, two truths can be also, you know, can be, he doesn't have enough vim or, you know, enough sauce for Hailey. Unfortunately, he's a little bit dry for Hailey, and but that doesn't absolve Hailey of her nonsense that she's been doing. Okay, but yes, he's a little bit dry. No fun. Yeah, everyone keeps saying, I don't know what these girls are saying about personality. It's fine. I don't know what they're seeing, but
the therapist came for Hailey a bit. And he was like, you think you've done this and you think you've done that, but are you trying to change him? Do you want someone to just slot into your life? Are you allowing him to be him? Sophie's like,
that's a shot to Sophie. That was a shot to Sophie. Like, defend your girl, B.
She is one of the hardest working members on this show. And
well, I think that will go to Clara, to be honest, giving neck every night. Sorry. She's the front runner.
I feel like she's really tried. I think she's really persevered. I think a lot of women would have given up on Jacob a long time ago, and she's still living in the house, still sharing the bed with him. I think she deserves a gold star.
I thought you said that if you had 8 weeks and you didn't find him attractive, you would try. Is that what you would call trying? Is that what you would? Is that your level of trying? Is that your level of trying that you would be trying? No. Is that your level of trying? Would you have tried the way she's tried? That's the question I'm asking you. You didn't find their face attractive. You didn't find them attractive. They fart eggs and steak. You gonna be trying the way you tried?
She made him a dinner with his
Brussels
big old
sprouts.
piece of steak. Yeah, with like 4 pieces with like 5 burgers. Like, the woman is trying. She's bought him clothes.
It's probably a love language. It's not very difficult.
I can't have this conversation with you because you're not serious. You're trying to wind me up, and I'm very easy to wind up. I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut.
Hailey got Sophie in the box, boy. No, I actually appreciate you trying to defend her still. You've done a good job all season. Do you know what I mean? You did a good job all season. We'll get our final thoughts, and then we'll get you guys to say, to tell people where they can find you and stuff. Final thoughts then, Rax. What's your final thoughts?
Do you know what? I'm not rooting for anyone right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Before I was rooting for Briana and Vincent, now we've got the money issue and the kid issue. There's no standout couple that I'm rooting for. And you can find me at Raxville on YouTube and Instagram.
Soph?
I think there's a lot of ill matching going on this season. I don't know how hard they try to really match people. Some things that are really glaring issues, the children, the narcissism, attraction. It's just, just seems to be all over the shop, and I'm almost where Raquel is. I still have a little bit of hope for Brie and Vincent, but generally, I think all of these marriages, even if people take them past the 8 weeks, they're still going to disintegrate in the long run.
I hear you. Guys, it's been good. It's been amazing. It's been powerful. It's been a
Wait,
great
Kojo,
conversation.
sorry.
What?
You didn't.
Huh?
Your final thoughts. Who are you rooting for?
Oh, sorry. Do you know what? I think we're gonna have Erik and Virginia, Paige and Chris. Sorry, not Paige and Chris. Bree and Vincent, and Ryan and Clara are gonna agree. So we're gonna have what, 3-4 couples? Is that 4
But
couples?
who are you rooting for?
Three.
Not predictions.
Who am I rooting for?
Who do you think should stay together? Yeah.
Bree and Vincent got less to work out than most people. They've got a lot of issues to work out still, but I think they've got less to work out than most couples, so I'm rooting for them. And I saw him in Latoya Forever's vlog, so I think they are going to make it. So, and then I kind of do actually, want Erik and Virginia to work out if they can get counselling. If they can get counselling and therapy, I think they got a better chance than most people because they actually talk. Now, the talk is not always great, but they do talk. Clara and Ryan, I'm not for it at all. Yeah, if Ryan's not going to be honest about it. But, yeah, I mean, Jacob Haley will definitely not say yes, so they're definitely out of the race. Chris and Paige are off. They're like this. I know Paige is going to, should say no, but the way she is, she might. So I think we'll have 3 couples saying yes, and they'll call that a successful season. So yeah.
That will be successful. Over half.
Yeah, over half, like just like the last season. So they'll have the last laugh because it's actually worked out. So yes, guys, gonna love you and leave you guys, audience members. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you leave a like on this particular video for liking what we do. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notifications of the uploads if you're new as well. And we will see you soon. All right. Keep on slaying out there, people. We appreciate you. Stay hydrated.